Okay. 1, 2, 3. We're here with Yosef Martin. This podcast is hosted by myself, Michael, and Ian here at the Billionaires Club and the Luxury Lifestyle Magazine. It's a pleasure to have you on here, Yosef. Great to connect and meet you. How's everything going?
Can't complain. Pleasure to be with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's all love. So yeah, we looked at your Instagram, we looked into you a bit, Yosef, and we'd love to say firstly, what you're doing is awesome. Very cool. We'd love to learn a bit more. It's quite unique and quite, again, cool. So yeah, Yosef, what is your story? What's the background to Yosef Martin? How did you get to where you are? I'd love to hear all of it. But of course, not a five. We don't only have so much time. So please tell us what is your story.
I'll give you a little spiel with under 30 seconds. All right, I'll start from the end.
Do your thing.
I'll start from the end. I sold a company called BoxyCharm. It's a monthly beauty subscription box in 2020 during COVID for $500 million. The company before I sold was actually grossing roughly $500 million in sales. It's a company that I've built and ran for about 7.5 years. But the story of how do you come to a point that you manage to build a company that runs 500 million in sales, it starts from the time when I came to the US. I finished the military in Israel, came down. I was an international student here at FIU, went to business school. And during that time, I opened my first company called Merchandise Liquidators, completely different. And I really started humble with $375, the company. And the company concept was flipping merchandise by pallets and truckloads. What I learned at that time, and we're talking 2004, I learned search engine optimization, SEO. And obviously you start learning how to run a business. You start scaling the business. By the time I graduated, I was doing about $1 million in sales. Wasn't that much, around 07. But
still excellent, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good for a student, international student, that pretty much I had to give everything by the end of a semester to the out-of-state tuition. I had to pay school, right? So yeah, it was easier for me to grow once I don't have to take any kind of money and put it to university. I had to.
So let me ask you, pardon me. So where is Yosef right now? Where are you based? Where are you from? And what school is this that you're speaking on? Where are you? What university?
I went to South Florida. I've been to Florida International University.
Okay.
Yes. And once I graduated from there, I was able to really hold in on the business, reinvest in the business. And I got a little bit more mature during that time. I got married on 2009, and I decided I need to focus on one thing. I was doing a bunch of little things at the same time, and I decided to focus on one business, and then it grew very fast. Around 2012, I heard about the subscription box concept, the beauty box. The beauty industry was trending.
So this is what you decided to become the main focus?
Well, in 2009, I decided to focus on the liquidation instead of just doing bunch of little side hustles that I had. Around I would say around 06 or 07, I learned that, you know what, I do search engine optimization so well, I can make money in many other ways. So I did casino sites, I had affiliate sites, and I did well with them, but it wasn't millions. You don't really make millions out of it at that time. And I was doing multiple things at once, and I never mastered one particular skill set.
Okay.
So around 08, 07, I decided that's it. Let me focus only on the liquidation. I'll make millions on it. That's what I need to do. And I grew the business to about 10 million in sales in 2012. But in 2012, I also heard about this concept called Beauty Box, subscription box. It was at the time 2 years old.
Okay.
And I decided to give it a shot. I did. And 2016, I sold the liquidation business. I don't know if you heard the phrase, don't be scared to give away something good for something great, by John Rockefeller.
I like that.
And I gave away pretty much a $10 million a year business because I felt like the box is going to be the next thing.
Yeah, I don't want to stop you. This sounds amazing, but I have to ask, how did you get this company to 10 million in sales? You said, I'm going to focus on liquidation. Can you just touch on a bit on that? Like what
the 10 million in sales was actually, there was the first phase. Up to $1 million took me the longest. to get from 0 to 1 million, just like they say. Right? It's
Hey, that first million, that first 10, it's nothing like that $500 million, et cetera. Kind of things fall
exactly. It's evolution. Yeah. It's all in your head.
Let me ask you, what are you doing? What is the breakdown? You don't have to go too granular, but for someone that's listening to you, I went into liquidation, did 10 million in sales, and then went into this, gave up something good for something great. To just go focused on this for one moment, if you don't mind. What exactly is somewhat of the detail to get a liquidation company, even to 1 million, and then even to 10 million? What's some of the ins and the outs of that?
Couple things. First, you need some skill sets. You need to master some skills, right? So I knew marketing, but it didn't take me to 10 million. The marketing didn't take me to 10 million. I learned SEO and I was doing amazing. The phone was ringing off the hook, but then I learned that it's not enough. It's just a piece of the puzzle. I need to actually think bigger. I need to get the right contracts, get the right merchandise, get enough salespeople, make sure that they have enough input of clients, but not too much, so they can really focus and fight for every sale and learn how to train them, give them the right. So it was a little bit more. That's what got me to 10 million. But to get to 500 million, you really needed to be in the right business, the right industry, understand that the time that you're in and total addressable market and all that. So it takes a minute. And to get to, I guess the biggest challenge was from 0 to 10, and then from 10 to 50, and then from 50 to 500. Because from 50 to, you can grow almost the same way in the same size, or I would say business infrastructure, all the way to 50. But to get it above that, you're going to fall apart. You need to change at that point from small business mindset to an enterprise mindset. You have to build a much more solid infrastructure. You need to have someone else, your right-hand man, a real solid president, CEO, to build the team underneath you, so you can focus on the business and running the business, and he can focus on the little details in the business that you don't have to focus. It's either or.
You go to a real company, right? You have all the departments.
Yes.
You get horizontal. You get more cemented in that foundation. Now let's take it to the next level, right? Yeah, yes. You mount your mindset, everything elevates, and you build that real company. It goes from that 10 to 20 person type company to 50, 100, 200, 300 people.
All that wouldn't work. All that wouldn't work if you don't have a winning formula. And if your product is not significantly better than the competition, you're not going to see that fast growth. And then all that, you're like, okay, I got this rock star person, but the sales are not there and all that. But if the sales are there, but you fall apart, the business is falling apart because you can't really sustain all that growth, then you need a rock star people on the C level to really help you support and build everything, things that you haven't done. And to find those people, my suggestion would always be, get people that were just kind of grew with the business fast. It's very hard to find them. If you're doing 50 to 100 million and you want to get to $1 billion, get the people that went to a business when they were at that stage where you're at now, but scale the business to billions. They've seen what you haven't seen. So they know exactly how to address that. They've been in that path that you haven't. And once you do it one time, it's easier because you've been there. But you need those people. So in my case, it was hard because subscription box, it wasn't a thing that was growing like that. You couldn't find people who did subscription box like us. So we needed to find someone from the e-com industry. That was the closest, most related part. There's logistic, you have to ship products. There's, okay, so how do you scale the logistic side? How do you scale the market? And then HR, all those elements, all the intricacies in the business. And that's what we did. We found, I found you need to start from the top. You find that one good person. You kiss multiple frogs until you get the right princess. Well, in that case, it's the guy. So don't. Yeah. Maybe the analogy is not perfect, but that's the idea. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing, man. So happy and thankful for you to share this light on this. And this is awesome information. So now moving forward from that liquidation, and you touched on it, and part of me, if you gave a little more insight to it, I want to just elaborate a bit further on that. Going now further into the beauty company. Can you touch on this? So you sold this company, which was excellent, doing 10 million, you scaled it up. It's a great business to move out of, but you saw something, as you touched on, an amazing quote. You mentioned that was by Rockefeller. Is that correct? To give up something good, go for something great. So then going in towards something great, can you share on this business a bit more? You went into
Well,
that.
yes. So I sold a $10 million business in 2016 while BoxyCharm was growing because I knew that this is the future. I had two reasons behind this. I think the first part was the liquidation was kind of like it was a junk business. You sell excess inventory from department stores. I love the business, but you still sell junk, and there's limitation to how much you can grow in the business itself. It's kind of like the chase for the Holy Grail. You look for whatever is left at the end of the season from.
Yeah.
But when you deal with subscription boxes, you can scale infinitely if you know what you're doing. So I moved over there. I had that vision that it will be taking over and it's going to change everything, and we can impact the beauty industry. And I didn't care for the cash. Like, I wasn't chasing the money. I was chasing the members. I wanted more members.
Yeah.
If I was chasing the money, I would have been comfortable much before that. But you're not. You just want to be at a bigger scale, because you said, well, if I want to get more members, the only way to get more members is by having better products. If I have better products, I also want them to have better experience. And if I wanted to have better experience and better products, I need the brands that I work with, and I get their products in my box. I need them to have phenomenal experience and get the best marketing campaign with us for free. And if I get that, I want the influencers that we work with to get the best experience compared to any other company they work with. So we had those strategies, and we said, that's what we were never really chasing profitability. I mean, we were profitable, but we weren't chasing maximum profit or anything like that. So you find yourself wanting to do it for the money at first, but then when you grow it, you don't want to grow it for the money. You want to grow it because of the prestige. You kind of like want to win a video game at the end. Yeah. And then, as you start scaling, you get to 1 million plus members. To get to 1 million at first you want to reach 100,000 members, paying members. Then you said, okay, now the next is 500,000. You reach the 500,000. Now the next you got to put 1 million, right? And then I just keep scaling and scaling. It's just
the ambition that you have. So you said 1 million members. So how much is this? Let's say like someone subscribes to this beauty box company. What's like an average order value look like for a customer?
So the base was $25 a month, and then we also had 35, and then we had a quarterly. You still have to be subscribed to the monthly, but then every quarter you're going to get another one that was $50. Plus we had a lot of flash sales only for members, so people would be able to access once a month a major flash sale that we had with about 1,000 SKUs that they can buy from. But I'll give you an example. Like, say skincare, we would sell a skincare that was retailing for $140. We would sell it for $12. And it was only for members. You wouldn't be able to find it on Amazon or something. It's not like it's a deal from Amazon. It was brands we worked with. Yes. And we would.
Now, so it was. Are you packaging this skincare product with other products in a package? Yes, right? Because this skincare.
No. If you were, the concept was a flash sale was if you buy on a flash sale, whatever you buy, that's what you ship. It's a flash sale.
Oh, it's a flash sale. Okay, because the skincare company that you're partnered with, they're not going to really want you to be selling their $140.
They did.
For $12.
They did because the concept that we came into brand was to say, listen, you can be in a program where you sample full-size items on our box. People would get to try your product. They'll get a full experience because it's full size, but we'll pay you the manufacturing cost. So if it costs you $2.50 to make it, we want 400,000 units. It's going to be in the month of August. 400,000 people would try it. It's going to go to thousands of influencers, including celebrities, potentially Kylie Jenner, and so on. Then on top of that, if you want to sample other items with us, it's going to be in a much smaller scale. We would only need 5,000 units or so, but it can be other SKUs, and that's going to go only for our members, where they can add it into the box, and it's going to be an add-on, so they can try other items except that item that we're going to do for 100,000. Then, so for them, it was still a sampling concept. For the members, it was a flash sale. So the flash sale, I think we did this only 1 year. We did this in 2020 when we exit, and it was pretty much year one. And it was $70 million year one, that the flash sale concept. I mean, we just started that, and that's what we did. So
incredible. Let me ask you, so how'd you get this many users? Like we've had a few different, this is like the 20 something or so episode. And of course, we're involved in business all day long. We hear about all different types of ideas all the time. But we had someone similar on the episode, on the podcast, and they touched on, selling a course, a bit more like a line like this. This is a subscription, a different product entirely, completely two different businesses. But they were scaling, I think they got to 2,000, members paying every single month. You referenced 1 million. I was like, whoa, that's a lot of people. How do you get to this many people?
Well, I think the reason is there's a difference between selling an online course versus selling a makeup box items that imagine you buy in Sephora. If you were to go to Sephora and buy those items, you don't pay $25. It's going to cost you about $150. So when a subscriber, when a lady gets the box, she opens the box, let's just say they deliver it to her office and there are 6 other ladies in the office. Like, what is this? Oh my God, how much did you pay? $25 for all this? One item alone from Sunday Riley is $80. Oh my God, let me subscribe. So the product really sells itself. So, and the evolution of the company was ridiculous because we were profitable throughout the whole way. So if you have 50,000 people would showcase your items every month. So you grow, let's just say 5% a month just from your own members because they open up the box. The product has to sell itself.
Yes.
When you get 500,000, you're equally growing the same way. So it's kind of like the rich get richer.
Yeah,
right?
the offering is almost, it's not too good to be true because it's true, but that's the concept, right? Yes. It's like an amazing offering. So that verbiage, that whatever it is, sign up for our newsletter or sign up to become a subscriber. It's like it's selling itself. I see it.
If you consider this, okay, if I'll tell you, look, what's more important, the product or the marketing? In the real world, you can say, well, depends how important is the product, right? If your product is a phenomenal product, it's kind of like it doesn't exist in the market. It's that good. You don't have to worry about the marketing if it's going to be if it's a retail product, right? Everyone is going to talk about this eventually. It's going to get to a time. So if you take a phenomenal product, you just put all your emphasis on product must be amazing, not just good product, but amazing. Then you're going to focus on marketing. You're going to be creating a current for yourself so you can swim on instead of paddling with no current, or if it's a bad product, swimming against the current. In this case, like I will put all my emphasis to create a current so I can put the boat and not even worry about paddling. The marketing is you paddling later on. That's the idea. So put everything you have on concept for best product ever, get a jaw drop, and then focus on phenomenal marketing. It's going to be so much easier. Yeah, and that's how you get $1 million.
Very solid, amazing, solid concept, absolutely beautiful. I love it. I love the mentality that you got. You see things from a macro, you put these pieces together, and it's a very strong kind of systemized business you have there. Very cool model. Let me ask you, how'd you get, what got you primed to this? You think the liquidating really made you think about buying in bulk and then reselling? You started seeing that value, more so finding and seeing what's valuable, right? And then taking it and liquidating it, right? There's a lot into that kind of a lot of different, traits that can kind of really prime that way you went. But what would you say, what else really got you to think this way or made you really think about the model? Yeah.
I didn't invent the concept. I only improved the concept.
Yes.
Right. And I think if you look at the world, right, most companies that really made it big, they either invent or stole a concept. Right? I didn't do any of those. I took a concept that exists, but I innovated.
Engineered it. Yeah.
Yes. So the concept was out there. And the reason I heard about this, it's because other subscription boxes bought for me products when I had the liquidation business. I had some cosmetics. Part of the liquidation was cosmetics. Okay. They bought for me some makeup, and I asked about the clients. They told me about the concept, and I said, all right, you know what? I can do it better. I mean, they have to, what is the concept? And at the time when I entered the space, the concept was only sample size, and the box was getting it for free. They would go to a brand and say, give me free stuff. I'll put it in the box, give it in the hands of highly engaged consumers. But when they couldn't get anything for free, they would come to a liquidation company, pennies on the dollar, so they can stay profitable. In their business model, the economic never left any money to buy product. They would do phenomenal packaging, bows, and all that stuff. I said, no, I'm going to make a very basic packaging I will package it light so I can be under a pound so I can save additional on shipping.
Yeah.
All that money that I have, I will put it towards product, but I'll do it full size. So the brands don't have to go through product development for sample size. They already have full size, and the members gets a full experience out of the product, but I'll pay the manufacturing cost for the product. So for the brand, they don't have to do any work. It costs them nothing, and they don't have to involve themselves into a whole new production for sample size because you need a new mold and all that. And for the members, now they get full experience of the product. They get better educated consumers. They can make better decisions before they shop. And who the hell doesn't want it? There's perceived value behind everything they got. So I said, okay, it's just a better concept. I found the economics to do it. And I was surprised that for all those years, I was in business up until I want to say 2018. I didn't have real competitors trying to mimic my concept. I started in 2014. Took them 4 years when I was already at 500,000 members trying to compete with me. And when someone was trying to compete with me at that time, I was too big to kill and too popular to.
Yeah. A lot of people don't see everything, you know, right? It comes back to that thing. What do you see? Some people can see all these different angles and can put things together. A lot of people, I feel what you just said, and I'm still growing and learning, right? You did amazing there and you're doing amazing. But I feel very similar in the sense that I'm doing something unique in that way where I'm buying things in bulk and I'm creating something that's amazing, kind of reverse engineered from the, the person I'm going to sell to. Like, it's too good to be true, the customers tell me, right, in a sense. And it's like a lot of people don't see these things. And then you have to, you took the risk, right? You had to lay out that money and buy in bulk and put the concept together. And you really were confident about it because you saw the end in sight, kind of like that 7 highly effective habits or whatever. You saw that ending before you started. And then you went through that process and you pulled up your pants, you spent all that money, you put the site together, you put this product together. And let me ask you, what was the rollout? Like, what was the very initial rollout of it? And then I'd like to go into other things, but I feel it naturally progressed. As we touched on, it's something that was amazing. Once that hit the customer's vision, they can consume this type of thing, full product for this price point, et cetera, et cetera. What was the very beginning of that rollout? You just put this product basket on a website?
Oh, there were evolutions. I created a new company, obviously, and then what I thought is going to work at first didn't really ended up working. I had to make multiple iterations to understand how it works, and the first few years were not so easy. I mean, our growth was really at the last 3 years of the business. As we grew faster. The growth derivative was even higher because I knew what's important. What's important is to get the right product, and then give it to the right influencers to talk about this and give them the right experience to the members. I knew that. So it was challenging because the brands at first didn't know who we are. And when we were trying to explain, look, instead of going to a regular box where you give them free stuff, we'll take it and we'll pay you for the goods. And it was just tough because at first the small brands, it's easy. You can go to the CEO, you can knock on the door, they'll open up the door, you explain, they said, oh, it makes sense, good, let's do it. But the big brands, it's just so many layers to get to the right person, and they were so buried with work that nobody wanted to listen to us at first. Eventually in 2017, I mean, 3-4 years into running the business, 3 years and change, we get the first big brand. And then the second one and the third one. And after we had 3 big brands, the other major brands, like we had MAC, Tarte Cosmetics, Becca, Cover Effects, all in one month. We had Bare Minerals, all of them coming in 1 year. So in 2018, it was a lot easier because 2018, now the big brands heard about us. Now they tried. Now they're all talking in their own circles. And they said, look, we actually got so much awareness. People came in and they bought, it was good. So now they started lining up and they worked with us. So the proof of concept for the big boys wasn't coming very, very quickly. But once they came in, the job was like it was already done. There was no going back. Everyone wanted to start working with us, and then eventually, I remember where the Kardashians wanted to start working with us because we were relevant. So they didn't want to promote something that's not relevant. Even they had their products in our box. Kylie Jenner had her products in our box. She promoted us every month, and when that happened, we had a call with the GM for Estee Lauder, John Dempsey at the time. And he said, we want you to get all our brands into your portfolio. So just in retrospect, what it is all the work that you've done for all those years and all that vision where people told you no one is going to want to put full size in your box. It will never happen. There's no reason for any brand to give you a full size product. That was before they all said, when can I be in your box? Can we do more campaigns this year? It was really changing. It was, and I like to say it kind of like Eminem, where kind of like being an outcast. So suddenly you're special, right? Because of the people you're around. And suddenly from getting that, we had Fenty with Rihanna. It was amazing to go and do all those products, to put them in a box, and then to see how you no longer have to split blood, and you have access to every brand you ever wanted to talk to, no matter who they are, from a point where you couldn't even get to the secretary at first. We had to go through that evolution.
Unbelievable. Absolutely amazing, man.
Sometimes people have to see, you know, to believe. And then it's like, hey, that person's in, I wanted to.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like that.
You need the first one.
Yeah.
You just need the first reputable person, company to believe in you. And then everyone else looks at you different. Everything changes in your business.
Your ears open up a little bit. Let me hear, what did this guy really pitch? Let's look out that email, right? It just opens the, it changes things a bit, 100%. Absolutely awesome, man. It's such a cool concept, and to hear how you did it, you seem so driven and intelligent. You look at it all, like, I love the way you just put it all together. It's so amazing, and it's really cool. So let me ask you, Yosef, just to bridge off of this a bit, and you touched on some of these things. Can you share any highlights of your career? As you touched on, you've been doing this for quite some time, and it went from this to this. It opened up your eyes from the liquidation. Wait, I could do that. You know, let me do this, etc. What are some meaningful moments that maybe were obstacles? And we kind of touched on a lot, but maybe something comes top of mind right now that could be of value. That was something that you had to go through. It maybe hurt you or it helped you, but something that was meaningful that you felt you learned from. Is there anything that you could highlight in that regard?
I'm trying. I mean, my head is spinning because there are plenty.
Yes.
From dealing with people
to spot, but yeah, does anything come top of mind?
Yes. So I was always challenged as once you, and I mentioned that when you get from 10 million, for a couple millions to really a more of an enterprise size business with a lot more people, you ask yourself, before you get to it, you find yourself kind of like with a chicken like a chicken with his head cut off, where you run around trying to explain everyone, yes, this one no. And you ask, why is it that it's so hard for me to embrace my formula into other people's head? How do I do it? How do I get what's in here to them so I can scale without? And then I got this advice from a friend of mine, and she said, well, write yourself, what are you here for? What are you trying to do? What is your goal? And then how are you going to make it? Write it in a couple pillars. So those are the few pillars. So anyone that comes to the company and say, this is our goal and this is how we're going to make it. So I wrote down the goal, and that was in 2015. I had about 20 employees, and I felt already that I'm falling apart, checking everyone's activation. I didn't have. So what I said was, and it took me a minute to think about this. I probably worked for about 2 weeks thinking about what am I getting, and then what is my main strategy.
Okay.
So I said, okay, my goal, everything I do sums up to me trying to grow. I'm not trying to be more profitable. I'm trying to stay profitable, but I'm trying to grow with more members. So I'm going to write down grow. This is my goal, to grow. And then how to get there, I ran into a challenge saying, what is a strategy and what is a tactic? And when you find out, okay, strategy is a combination of is a common denominator of multiple tactics. Okay, so when I think about an idea, I was saying, is that a strategy or is that a tactic? That also took me a while to think about that. And I came up with 4 strategies. I had a goal and 4 strategies. And I say, the goal is to grow. Now, and the strategy number 1 is get the best product in the box. Number 2, get the best experience for the members. 3, get the best brands experience, because those brands are our partners, to get them in a box, give them the best in-class marketing campaign for free. And the last but not least is get the best influencer experience. So they would be obsessed with your brand. It's not another brand. They work with plenty of brands, but this brand got to be special. So any idea that anyone in the company has to hit one of those 4 pillars, because if they do, it's going to help us grow. So we would sit down and we would say, here's an example of what not to do. And we'd give them a negative example so they would understand. We'd say, well, if my idea is to say, let's every Tuesday go drop what we're doing and feed the homeless. Let's see, is that going to help us grow? Will that give us a better product in a box? No. Will it give the brand a better brand experience? No. Would it help the customer experience? No. Would it help the influencers experience? No. So it's a great thing. You can do it on a personal day for you guys, but for the business, it wouldn't help us grow. So we're not going to be goal-oriented if we do it. Every idea that you have to help us grow. So if we say, let's have an influencer event and invite brands, okay, that would help the influencer experience. We get to know them personally. It would help the brand experience. They get to connect. Good. That is a good idea. So every time someone would come with an idea, you would see managers, directors, all of them would say, what pillar do you hit? Okay, so now everything you throw on a wall will stick. So everyone understand where you're heading and how to get there. And now you don't have just your brand power. You have, no matter how many employees you have, all of that brand power is coming into play. And you'll be surprised how everyone has their angle, a little bit different, a little bit more creative. And then you get much more creative brand, much more goal-oriented brand, and everyone puts all their energy. So it's all the vectors going into one direction, very focused, you pierce through any challenge. That was the catalyst that changed BoxyCharm from where it was, from a small company to an actual company that can go enterprise edition. It wasn't just the tiering the organization from flat to, it was actually the minds. All of us know how to go. Suddenly all the soldiers go to the same direction.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You tapped into the power of your people, right? You tapped into the power of people. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Wow. Because you're sitting
You amplify everybody.
Yeah, you're sitting there yourself thinking overtime, right? Wow, what do I do? What do I do? But then you're like looking at your team. Let me get them on the same line. Let me get them tapped into my level of mentality, what I'm focused on. These are the four things. And it drives out all the other extra, lost attention, right? And focus. That's amazing.
If your company if your employees know better where you're heading and how to get there than your competitor, it doesn't matter how many employees the competition has, they're going to fail. Your company would be much more direct, focused, and more motivated internally. Everyone knows that they're heading in the right direction. That is their self-actualization. And that's how you can take a small company to beat a big dinosaur.
I love it. Absolutely amazing. So let me ask you, Yosef, bridging out of that, I'm so happy I asked you that. That was incredible. What is a bit off of this, but it's very aligned. What's like your morning routine, Yosef? I always ask this. We see a lot of value in this. You're so driven, you're on it. What's the morning routine of Yosef Martin on a day-to-day, let's say? Is there any?
So I'll tell you this, I sleep, drink, think about what I do. So it's 24/7, it's just the way I am. I like to wake up though, and I need my Zen moment, and it has to be at the gym. That's the only time I can do it, because I have to focus on something that's going to challenge me, and it's going to make me feel that I don't have to think about work again. Now, work for me, it's a more leisure. It's kind of like a video game, and money is just a way to keep score. But my morning routine had to start with couple, I would say, disciplined parts where go get up, take a shower, make your bed, brush your teeth, go to the gym, then start your day, kill it. I'll do it. But I will always wake up looking at everything that's urgent. So if there's anything urgent, I have to wake up, look at the phone. I don't follow that meditation, affirmation every morning. I don't do any of that. Just start working, like open up the phone, look at all the emails, do all those stuff, then do your physical routine, then go back to work, do whatever you have to do.
Okay, so you don't do any meditation, none of that stuff?
I'm not wired for meditation yet. Perhaps there is a better way for me. I'll do more breathing things, breathing exercises, the Wim Hof method. I can't just sit down and meditate, because I cannot stop thinking about anything that I'm thinking.
Brain activity is up, right?
Yes,
that
I can. Yeah.
I could tell when you were first starting your entrepreneurship, let's say, when you would go to sleep, lay down, which were probably a little bit late. It seemed like you did those late nights. I was like this a bit. Well, I feel like when you lay down, that brain activity kind of never even stopped. You'd almost dream,
Never
like
stop.
you touched on. You'd be dreaming about equations and the influencers, and does this equate to this? Will this be a byproduct that way? Will this work like this? Right? And then you'd wake up, be like, oh, back to it. You know, I feel you.
All the best ideas came to me in the middle of the night, where I feel I'm in a certain realm between sleep and awake, where there's not a lot of input of thoughts. Well, I'll wake up at 3 a.m. sometimes, then I'll go back to sleep after, but I'll wake up at 3 a.m. or I'm about to fall asleep and those ideas will hit me, where I have this realm where I only focus on one idea, where throughout the day I'll have a bunch of ideas, a bunch of fires I have to turn off. That's when I'm laser focused and I can come up with much more creative solutions that were more instrumental for my growth. And I guess because of that, my brain keeps searching for that realm.
Yeah.
Where I am. And it doesn't have to take so many times. It can happen twice a month. But I feel much better when I go to sleep thinking about an opportunity or how to build something versus going to sleep after watching, let's just say, a movie and thinking about the movie, or going with friends talking about leisure things. I feel like I feel much more creative, and it makes you feel rewarded when you have good ideas. So
100%. I love it. Absolutely awesome. Very cool. And it's cool to hear you like the Wim Hof too. He's awesome.
yeah.
Do you go freezing, like freezing showers, or you go in the freezing bucket?
I've done, obviously, I've done the ice multiple times.
Okay.
I think the breathing really made a difference for me, because the breathing is where I can detach myself from the other thoughts. I hate doing that. It's not pleasant. I feel cold every time I do it. Not in the bucket, just the breathing makes you feel cold, at least for me, if you do it properly. But it's just, you say like it's 10, 20 minutes, I'll do it and I'm over it and I'll feel better. I can't do it every time. I'll do it maybe once a week at best, but it's so important, because that is the only way that I can stop myself completely thinking about everything else. Gym helps, but this is really shutting down my brain. Thinking about the breathing makes it easier, and that works for me. That's my only, I guess, if you can call it meditation. If I'll just sit down regularly, I won't be able to do it.
I was just gonna say, I swear, I'm thinking right now the word meditation, because it is that in a form, you know, and I feel you'd like it because it does touch on what you touched on. When I meditate, at least myself, I think everybody's different. I get that opportunity and I feel like it's a luxury. I'm thankful to get it, where I'll sit there and I'll be able to think about that one thought. I'll first start on my breathing, like the air just bridging my nose, and I'll focus on just my breathing, but I'll find naturally 10, 15 minutes in, I'm zoned mentally on one thing, kind of like what you experience with that in between the REM and, you know, kind of your thoughts. You're not deeply in that REM yet, but you're right about there and you're still kind of thinking on one thing. That meditation really does allow that in a controlled manner. Like you could do it, you know, every day, every other, you know, you could find that moment. If you get, you know, once you, you know, start to meditate, it takes months and months for it to start to really feel that impact.
You're adding breathing into your meditation, so you can focus on one thought. Interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll just sit and breathe and listen to that air just hitting my bridge of my nose. And I kind of picture myself like sitting on the side of the road, like on a hill, looking at cars driving. I heard this in a documentary and it stuck with me so well and allows me to reach this higher level when I meditate. I'll visualize myself sitting on the side of the road up on a hill, and the cars are just moving all over the place. Every car is a thought. So if I were to get up and go into that car, it's a thought that I'm allowing to just take me somewhere. Now, if I leave the car, I stay on the side of the hill and let the thoughts just drive by, I'm maintaining the mental power of controlling my thoughts and letting them just fly by me. So I'll keep this analogy and this visual in my head. And after so many times of like, I'll sit there, oh, that thought just took me, I'm getting out of that car, I'm back on the road, on the side of that road. After the third or fourth controlled thought, I enter this level of where I'm just there and it's me and I'm focused, you know, on whatever it may want to be. And I'll allow that thought after the third or fourth or fifth one to kind of take me a little bit, because I'll find that that's where I'll get that creative outlook or that angle I didn't think of, you know, in the past, you know, something like this. And that's been my experience. And then after so many months, you get a bit more skilled, almost like a karate guy gets skilled at chopping a block. You get a bit more skilled internally, mentally, on how to control these thoughts and allow them to, live a bit longer to get that other angle on it.
So you're building it like a muscle. You keep training your brain to
Exactly.
isolate the thoughts. That's beautiful. I'm gonna read about this and I'll try.
Yeah, and I'm going to read more about Wim Hof. I've heard about Wim Hof many times. Ian, you got to read about this guy. I've seen him a lot, but I've never done like the ice plunges. I'll do some cold showers, but that what it allows you to do with the breathing and all of it is an amazing.
The breathing with Wim Hof is pretty much the more revolutionary academically for everyone. When you understand that he can do, he was able to beat. So he went to the University of Holland, and he told them, inject me with. They injected him with E. coli, which give you food poisoning, and it's down to science where you're supposed to start feeling a certain way and fever and all that, and he had none of those symptoms. And they told him it's just you. He said, no, it's not me, it's my method. And in order to prove it, he needed to bring 12 students. So he went to the campus and he asked, hey, do you want to be volunteers? I'll train you in a breathing method. It's going to give you like little superpowers. And students, they said, yeah, sure. So he trained them for 3-4 days. He brought them in. None of the students had symptoms. Today it was tried, I think, with about 600-700 people, and none of them had any symptoms, just with the breathing. And that's injecting E. coli. So it's broken down into science. What happened when you push your adrenaline, when you do the Wim Hof, when you're actually doing the breathing, because you have to hold your breath. Actually, you don't hold your breath. You take all the air out at the end, and you just hold it for a very long time. But the breathing holds and gives you the ability to hold it much longer, and that increases your adrenaline in your body, just like when you're doing bungee jumping. And it was tested. And when you do have so much adrenaline in your body goes into a different mechanism where it's as if animal is chasing you and you're wounded. The adrenaline kind of like heals everything, because you need to run, you need to kind of save your life. And you put yourself in that realm, and you can influence your immune system in a more primitive way where we have suppressed throughout the years. So you can go and listen to it's so well documented. It's been in multiple interviews. Mm-hmm. So it's much more than just a meditation. It's something that you do if you start feeling under the weather, or you just do it every week. So you're not going to feel under the weather, because it boosts your immune system. And it's also helping people mentally, people in depression. It really resets you.
It's incredible. I need to spend the time to dive in on this. You're like the dozenth, 10th, 15th person that told me about this. You want to say something, Ian?
No, I'm just saying, like how you said the meditation part with the cars and the breathing exercise. That's really cool stuff.
Yeah, it's absolutely, it's amazing with the Wim Hof. But yeah, I appreciate you shedding a little more light on that. I want to spend some time looking into that. And it's cool to hear you do it once a week or so. That's about all you need. It doesn't need to be a daily thing or something like this. It can be done here and there. So yeah, Yosef, other than that, I really do appreciate you coming on here. You shared a lot of amazing information. It's such a pleasure to link with you. Where are you based right now? I can't help to see. You have such
Florida.
a place. You're in Florida. Where in Florida?
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm in downtown Brickell.
Yeah, Ian's right there.
Yeah.
You're in downtown Brickell?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's
so
where
we should grab a drink. Yeah, absolutely.
He's at the SLF.
Later.
Anytime.
Yeah, if ever you're in New York. Yeah,
you're in New York. Well, I'm visiting New York. I go to New York very often, so you should definitely grab a drink when I get to New York.
Let's do it. Thank you so much, Yosef, for your time. You're an amazing person, and we appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, brother. Right?
Thank you.
All right. All right.
Be in touch.
Thank you for watching this episode. We upload a new episode every Friday at 5 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. We as well greatly appreciate those that have subscribed to the channel. We appreciate the love and the support. Lastly, if you've missed last week's episode, tune into the episode right here.